customer loses beer and freedom over an interested woman. Being a retail manager for a retail drugstore chain, Friday nights are very busy. Everyone is excited for the weekend and alcohol sales are up. It starts off as a typical Friday night until a man we call Ken walks in. Ken is making his way to the cooler to buy a 6-pack of Corona beer glass, and his way there he decides to hit up on a woman and ask for her number. We'll call her Jane. Jane's boyfriend, we call him John, immediately confronted Ken and told Ken that Jane is his girlfriend. To get the full picture, Jane had a stroller with a baby in it. John is a large guy with tattoos for eyebrows and several extreme piercings. Both parties go their separate ways until checkout. Ken is in front of John and Jane and tries again to ask Jane for her number. John, in a tougher, firmer voice, again confronts Ken to leave his girlfriend alone. After Ken pays for his beer, he decides to wait outside and again asks Jane for her number. Ken is now mad and grabs Ken's beer and slams it against a concrete pillar outside the store. Glass breaks and there's a large puddle of beer. John then says, "Next time that's your head," and leaves with Jane. Well, that was only the start of the crazy night with Ken. Ken asked for a manager and asked for a replacement beer. We told him that because we did not break his beer, we cannot replace his beer. We offered to call the police so he could report the assault and loss. Ken tried to make a case that the store would get a lot of bad publicity with the police and being on the news, so it would be cheaper and less stressful if we just give him another beer. We kept saying no multiple times. Then Ken started a tantrum. He started punching the concrete poles, throwing whatever he could get his hands on, even toppling the trash cans. I called the police not once, but twice. Unfortunately, it took the police half an hour to get to the store. During that half hour, Ken is harassing customers and throwing his tantrum. Luckily, the other manager who was on duty with me was large and burly and offered to escort customers to their cars. At one point, Ken even tries to grab the manager's leg like a little kid, begging for a beer. When the police finally arrive, Ken is throwing his shoes and picks up a piece of broken glass, looking like he's ready to charge. That's when the police throw their guns and order his hands up and him on the ground. The police tell me that what they witnessed is enough for them to arrest him, but take my statement for good measure. Had Ken just listened to John's first warning, he'd be home alone enjoying some beer. Instead, he spent the night in jail alone and no beer.
Yes, sir, you have to pay for a plastic bag, no matter how old you are. This happened about a year ago when I was a university student working in a liquor store. Best job, loved it. We had many tourists come to buy scotch of all types and prices. One evening, an entourage of older tourists dropped in and yelled at my colleague and I, "Bablu, I need Bablu. There is no whiskey named Bablu." However, we are used to this, so my colleague and I showed the gentleman our selection of Bablu and asked which he'd like, explaining to him the different varieties and how they're going to be the last generation of year statements, and so on. My colleague and I are both young and female, which didn't appeal to this guy. He stuck his nose up, alluding that we didn't know as much as he did. False combined, we know a lot, and even called himself a whiskey connoisseur. Without much else, he chose based on the price, lowest, and wanted 3. Came to about 112 pounds, which, in the grand scheme of things, wasn't that much. Asked whether he wanted a bag, he gruffed and refused, so I rung him up for the 3 whiskeys. Gave the receipt, signed some tax forms, and thanked him. He didn't leave. Him give me a bag. Me, "Oh, sorry, sir. You said you didn't need one. It's an extra 5p, but you can just put it in our charity box." Him, 5p, you means I've just come all the way from blank, bought hundreds of pounds of whiskey, and you're wanting me to pay 5p for a plastic bag? Me, yes, it's the law here. If we don't abide by the law, then our license could get revoked. It all goes to charity. We've chosen water aid so that people from the most deprived countries can get access to water. But that's disgraceful. I can't believe you're going to charge me 5p. I won't stand for it. This is awful. Colleague, it's the law. Think about the future. Plastic bag waste has gone down 80% since the price was introduced. The money all goes to charity. The old man lost his mind and screamed at us, "Charity! I'm a charity!" He and his entourage stormed out carrying the heavy weight of 3 Bablu whiskeys between the 3 of them. I've since referred to Bowdler as Babu in his honor.
Check out my other superb videos.